This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Hello, welcome to the program, everybody. My name is Eric Nagel. Over there on her phone, totally missed her whole intro, is the lovely Zia.
I didn't even know I had an intro.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was twittering. I was on the Twitter. I was doing things in the Twitter world.
And then over there is the lovely and talented Gales.
I am trying to stop Emperor Nagel. I read my introduction. I'm going to stop you.
Did you like yours?
I did, and I'm going to drink this weird pumpkin beer.
All right. Well, if you're watching it on the YouTube thing, we'll have to figure out how to get that on there.
That was good, Eric. I liked that. That was very nice.
Yeah, why put some effort into it when,
when you could not.
I watched it. I saw the effort.
Okay.
It was effort.
Welcome to the program, everybody.
Effort.
Follow us across the board on all the social medias at It's Eric Nagel. And follow us on YouTube, Twitch, all of that stuff. We do the radio show live every Thursday night, 8 p.m.-ish Eastern. Tonight we started a little bit later because of other things. Somebody slammed the door and the power went out, so had to take care of that. But yeah, you can follow us on twitch.tv/It's Eric Nagel live, be part of the chat. And join us for the radio show. If you're listening to us for the audio version and want to see the video that you missed, you can always go to the YouTube channel the next day and see the whole video there. Also, wanted to talk about the fact that we got the Discord thing working now. So moving forward, we have a room in there. If you want to join our Discord, go to itsericnagel.com. The link's right there, or on my Twitter. The link is there available, where you join the Discord and you can go to the Call the Show live room. You can go into there. If you got your mic set up, we can bring you on, and you can pretty much, it's like taking calls. You can come and be a live part of the program. So that'll be a feature that we will have available going forward. Welcome to the show, everybody. There was no show really last week. I did one impromptu show last night that I thought it was only going to be about 20 minutes, talking about a format flip here in New York City, which is a former station that I used to be on with Opie and Anthony, and wound up going into a whole history of format flips for that station and just the collapse of the radio industry in general. So the next thing I knew, it was 2 hours into the show. So it's like, all right, I think I did enough. And then we ended. So that's available right now on your feeds. It's on video.
I knew it wasn't going to be a quick 20-minute one and done. I knew it was going to go further.
Yeah, and I also knew it was like, when you were like, oh, I'll come join you for a little bit, I was like, I was trying to be nice. Like, I don't think this is something you really care about. Like, you would really be interested in. Well, because
you said you were doing an impromptu show, so I assumed it was like a pre-show for today, and that's why I was just like, oh, yeah, I'll join. And then I was like, oh, I don't know any of this.
It was just something that was going on in the industry. I figured I'd dive into it. But there's clips all over the social media that I put up, and then you can see the full thing. If you got the iHeart feed, it's up on Spotify, and you can see the video with the visuals, the photos, the videos I was showing, all up on our YouTube channel. We did not do a show last week because we were at New York Comic-Con, and that's what this show is this week. We're going to recap some of our experiences there, and then when we go to break, the second part of the show is going to be all the interviews that we did at Comic-Con. So coming up, we've got the cast of... we did a bunch of the DC shows. We got the cast of Pennyworth. We got the cast of Titans and Doom Patrol. That'll all be there. We ran into Todd McFarlane. We talked to him for a while.
Yep.
The guys from Ghost Brothers over at Discovery Plus. They were pretty fun. What else did we have? We had a few other
American
things.
Born Chinese. We got to talk
Yes,
to,
we did some of the Disney Plus shows, American Born Chinese. The director for that series was also the director for Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. He's doing the sequel, and he's also doing the Avengers, the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. Okay.
that was a lot of fun, and there's a bunch more coming up in the second half of the show. So
the Toys Who Made Us guys, they were great.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. So last week, Thursday through Sunday, was New York Comic Con at the Jacob Javits Center here in New York City. The first real official, all back, everybody back in the pool version of the show. Last year it was open, but a lot of the main vendors and exhibits and all that stuff were not there. It was pretty dead, and a lot of the talent and stuff, the talent pool there for panels, everything wasn't. So 2021 was kind of they were feeling it out, like, can we do this again? Or are we ready to do it? People came, but the exhibitors, all that stuff did not. This year, for the most part, they were all there. Big presence of anime seemed to be the big theme this year, which was the first time, God knows how many years, that The Walking Dead wasn't the front and center of New York Comic Con. It was all Crunchyroll.
Is The Walking Dead still happening?
They're on the last season.
They're on their last season.
They're about to end this show.
Finally going to end.
And they have spin-offs
a few seasons ago. Well, I know they have Fear the Walking Dead. They've got some other thing that's coming out.
They have some Walking Dead universes, like Stories Untold. Like they're gonna have a ton of spinoffs. I think there's a Daryl and Carol spinoff that's coming. So I'm sure the fate of them is probably known at this point if that's the spinoff.
Right.
But yeah, the anime had a big presence, but anime has been building up for a few years there. I remember a couple of years ago when the first time when Crunchyroll was there and shit was exploding.
Yeah.
This year, it's a lot of anime. There was that one booth that was the whole row of just K-pop stuff. That was pretty interesting.
I remember walking by that.
In the anime stuff, there was one particular property that was consuming a lot of the space at New York Comic Con. It was this animated series called One Piece. And
they have a movie out.
They have a movie out. They had an exclusive Funko Pop this year that was that's the big get for this season. Something about it's a weird pirate ship and a guy with a giant mouth named Fluffy or Luffy something. I forget what his name is. I knew nothing about this property until the night before, and then was looking it up and seeing what this is. And apparently it's pretty huge. I've never seen it as far as mainstream stuff in the United States yet. This was the first experience with it. They had a couple of big floor spaces. One had a giant inflatable 50-foot statue of one of the main characters in that red outfit promoting this movie called Red. And they did a whole thing Thursday night in Times Square where they just took over all of Times Square, and at one point they hit something and all the electronic billboards in this area just went red with the logo on there. And they did a big party, I guess, in the middle of Times Square for this. But then right diagonal from it was a booth for this One Piece promoting the movie that's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Something called Odyssey. I think it was One Piece Odyssey. Or maybe it's a game. I don't know exactly what it was.
So I thought that might have been a game. There was so much different things around this one property that it was hard to decipher what was the movie, what was a game, what was what. It was just everywhere.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
I didn't know exactly what it was, but everybody was all about it, taking photos of the pirate ship, that giant guy, all the features that they had up for this thing. Never heard of it. This was the first time ever, but apparently everybody
You've never
knew
heard
of
of
it.
One Piece at all?
No, not at all.
Wow. I don't really watch any anime at all. Miyazaki is pretty much the only anime I've ever watched.
Right.
I watched a little bit of One Punch Man because Nick was watching One Punch Man in the background, so I've seen a little bit of that, but I know what One Piece is.
I've heard of One Punch Man. I've heard of that.
One Punch Man is pretty funny.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
The little bit that I've seen.
Never heard of the One Piece thing until this year.
One Piece is apparently huge. Nick has a friend that all he watches is anime. And I guess I must follow some people that like anime because I've heard about One Punch I mean, One Piece a lot.
One Piece. All right.
One Piece has 144 episodes. I've just been informed.
Jesus.
Really?
That sounds like it's more than One Piece. That sounds like it's 144 pieces.
144 pieces.
Wow.
And there's no instructions. Good luck building it.
Ugh.
Suckers.
That's gross.
Yeah, like
so
there was a bunch of properties that I never heard until the movie was coming out or something, like Ghost in the Shell. I mean, I kind of heard of it back in like the early 2000s.
Ghost in the Shell is like when we were in high school, Eric.
Great
or
movie.
that
Ghost in the Shell is an incredible story.
I really liked it.
Never heard of it. Like I don't know a lot of this anime and manga stuff, but then the movie was coming out, and I think we did interviews or something for the movie. We had somebody on the show for the movie.
AZ in the chat is talking about an anime called Chainsaw Man that's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
When we went to the Funko event, there was a costume contest, and the guy who won was Chainsaw Man. He had like a giant chainsaw
That was
head.
a girl, by the way.
That was a girl. I couldn't tell. They had a chainsaw for a head.
I think I saw that on Hulu.
Yeah, apparently that's a really popular one. Like people were really going nuts for that because I was just like, what is this person with a chainsaw for a head? But like when they were like, does this person win, it was obvious they were gonna win, you know? So,
yeah,
like, huge following. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I people were telling me, they're like, you got to enter the cosplay competition. I'm like, absolutely not. Like my Starlight was cool, but not up against people who actually create and craft these like incredible cosplays, like a chainsaw head that you have to build.
Yeah.
You can't order that.
No, you go to the chainsaw head story, be like, I need one chainsaw head. Like, what blade you want? Whatever cuts down other chainsaw heads.
I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this was the exhibit that they had there, and they just had these chainsaws in every direction with these giant screens showing you clips of this series, movie, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they're like, remember, if you take any photos, tag it. And I said, okay, but I didn't know what I was looking at. So I walked through the whole thing, and I was like, all right, this is horror, I guess. I don't know what this was.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff there. A lot of different anime properties. Ghost in the Shell movie is pretty good. Not the Scarlett Johansson one, like the 1995 anime one.
Yeah,
right?
The anime one. I saw that in theaters when they re-released it again, like a year ago, maybe. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was really good. I should watch more anime. It's hard. They do have a lot of. Dragon Ball Z too is another one that has how many freaking episodes. So if you don't get it on the ground floor, I would never catch up.
Anime's too difficult.
People tell me I would love
into.
Attack on Titan, but I've never watched any of it.
People talk about Attack on Titan a lot. Yeah.
I try watching some of that stuff when somebody says, oh, this is a big property. I'll go and I'll take a look. But it's not just that it needs to have the English dub with it, but it's just so over the top. Like they're always screaming, over emotional, and their eyes are either like still really wide and like that, or their eyes are like this, and there's tears coming out their nose, their eyes, the side of their face. They're always over emotional and screaming, and I just can't.
It's very
I can't sit there with this. Yeah, I can't. I don't have the patience for it. It's too much.
I can do it in small doses, where if it's like a movie or like a limited series, like I could do it. But like the mangas and the graphic novels, like that's just there's too much. Like I can't get into that. It's like, and it's like the same reason why I won't get into a show that's like 6 seasons in. Like I don't have the time to catch up. Like I need to get it on the ground floor.
That's a little different. I can try to play catch up for that, but I've tried watching suggestions.
Yeah.
I like this Lucy Moody. Anime is just too anime. Yes, that's exactly it. I've had people try to, even when you'd have the big anime Saturday nights on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim, whatever it was, when they would say, "Oh, you'll love Cowboy Bebop," or "You'll love Lupin the Third," which apparently that's a movie I saw is coming out now. They're doing a movie for that. I've tried to watch this, and it's like and this is a guy who likes animation. I can't. My mind goes elsewhere. I can't focus on these stories.
Well, where does Aeon Flux fall in that? Because I feel like Aeon Flux was an anime, but it was like
it was an American. Yeah, it wasn't.
But like the animation style was still like very anime.
Yeah,
it was very exaggerated and lots of
some of those that are just very low key and then become like brutally violent. That I can handle more than when they're doing all that shit. It's just like I can't fucking handle it.
I gotta go.
It is what it is. That's what those things are. They're screaming and yelling, and There's fucking
Sorry.
colors shooting around the
Jesus.
back. I don't. Whatever. It is.
I'm gonna take the elevator. Boop.
Nope. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I can't stand it.
You should watch Princess Mononoke. I feel like that movie is absolutely excellent. And I remember watching it as a kid. I watched it so young, and then I have watched it, since quite a few times over. But I definitely should not have been watching that when I was like 7. But it's a really good movie. I much prefer everything that Miyazaki made over Disney movies. Just because I like the message that he sends a lot more. Now they're trying to do that thing with Disney movies where they're doing live action. They're like, but it's going to be a modern rendition, and we're going to get rid of the prince, and the princess isn't going to need the prince. It's like,
That's
well,
all
then just
cash
don't
grab
make it.
stuff.
Yeah, just don't make it. Go make something else then, because you're not making whatever the original story is that I'm not a particular fan of anyway, but I don't want to see you take it and be like, well, we're going to make it this now.
Which they do a lot.
I learned
do
to
it too
not
much.
care about it, where I just realized it's a cash grab. It's like when they repaint
course.
figures and you're like, oh, now Batman's got a Dayglow suit. And you're like, why? Okay, somebody wants it, so they're just cashing in on the same thing again. That's all it is. You don't have to watch it. The originals exist. You're fine. It doesn't matter.
I don't watch any. I've not watched a single live action Disney remake.
I saw one. It was live on network TV. I can't remember what it was. They did something.
Beauty and the Beast.
The last Disney thing that I saw,
They did something live on ABC, and I can't remember what it was. But I was just like,
no, remember, was it the it was over the pandemic. 'Cause I remember we talked about it on the show and how sad it was that they were doing this.
was it? It wasn't Annie, right?
Well, they did Annie, and I remember like it didn't do that well. And we were like, yeah, well, no one cares about a rich girl right now. Like that wasn't the story. What was it?
I don't remember, but yeah, there was a Disney thing they did live.
I'm googling a list of Disney live specials. See if we can figure. Don't put it in alphabetical order. Put it in date order.
Well, they got. Was it Little Mermaid? Or is that?
No, yeah, they tried to do that live, but everyone drowned on stage. It was horrible.
Yeah,
I thought it
know.
was funny.
Yeah, it was The Little Mermaid.
No, there was a different one last year. It wasn't Little Mermaid. I don't know. Someone in our chat will find it.
Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, was it Beauty and the Beast?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it was terrible.
Anyway, we didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
You might have
We're
seen
not
it.
gonna.
But anyway, anime stuff. Big presence at New York Comic Con. Walking Dead usually has a big presence. No presence this year. There was one little panel thing that it was a surprise to me because I didn't see it on any list for anything. And then Dark Comics wasn't there. At the IW.
Dude, it was. I'm not gonna lie. This was a very disappointing Comic-Con.
It was boring.
There was nothing to do. Like usually, there's all these events set up, and there's all these different things.
Floor
and
show,
things
like
you
Marvel
can walk
usually has a
through
stage and a floor show, and it sounds like you walked into a loud arcade all the time.
Yeah, there's always like someone on a loudspeaker. There's stuff going on. There's like Image and Dark Horse usually have a gigantic booth in the middle of the room where they always have exclusive shit. They were not there this year. They had no presence. I talked to IDW, which was the comic booth that they usually share their stand with.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, no one wanted to come this year, just us. I was like, damn, that sucks.
Wow, that's
And he's like, you want to
surprising.
buy some of our comic books? I'm like, I don't like your comic books. I want Image comic books.
But
And I walked away.
that was weird because it was IDW, it's Dark Horse, and one other property that shared that long oval booth that used to be in front
And it was
of
like
Marvel.
rounded. It was like one on
it
one
was a
side, one on the
360
other. Yeah.
booth, and they always had the Walking Dead people show up. Like the last time we were there, The Weeknd showed up, and a couple other people showed up. And
Yeah, Robert Kirkman was there signing autographs,
Right.
like at the table the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting. So I've been to a few now. The first one I went to was in San Diego, and that was pre-pandemic. So that one was obviously massive.
Nuts,
I
yeah.
mean, it was insane. They had, celebrities walking around with their entourages around them all over the place. They did have like a panel, not a panel set up, but like a showroom thing with the actors on The Flash.
right.
Of The Flash, I mean, that were like up and they were talking to people and everybody was signing autographs. Like it was wild. That one was crazy cool. And then even the one that I went to though just this year in Boston, the Fan Expo in Boston, there were a lot of celebrities there. Like all the Hobbits were there. I met
Yeah.
Greg Sestero there.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a picture with him. He's giving me tickets to go see his new horror movie that he's like acting and directing in. I am
Ooh.
so excited. Yeah,
Where
speaking
is
of
it?
it's screening all over the place. I'm going to the one in Staten Island just because it's so much easier for me to get to than anywhere else. But I think it's at the Alamo Drafthouse, also in Brooklyn. It's also playing in Manhattan. It's like, it's going to be everywhere. But yeah, there were a lot of celebrities, even at the Fan Expo in Boston. Now, Boston was a lot smaller and it didn't have as much stuff as New York Comic Con, but it still felt like more was going on.
Right.
New York Comic Con, don't get me wrong, I had a fun time because it was my first time there and it was my first time cosplaying. So I got a lot of pictures with people and it was really cool. Got to meet up with a couple of friends from LA that I hadn't seen in a few years. So that was nice too. But you're right. There wasn't like that much going on. It was just walking around the floor. That was kind of it.
Like the last Comic Con I was at, they had like a fucking booth that you could sit in. They would give you Overwatch guns and like a 3D camera would spin around you and take pictures and give you a picture of you as like Reaper or Tracer and shit like that. Like they had nothing like that. There was a couple years ago, they had little like BB-8s you can like play with, the whole Star Wars exhibit, none of that. You know, it was just a lot of, you know what there was this year? There was a 50% increase in the number of people selling stupid mystery boxes. Mystery boxes are going to be the death of all of us. It's going to be the death of every con. Just somebody selling a bunch of garbage in a box for $50. And they have booths. They put a different picture on it. They put a Mario sign or a Zelda sign, and you get $50 worth of whatever garbage related to that property they want to throw in that box. And they may have one box out of all those that's worth a lot of money, but they're making so much money on those garbage boxes that they don't care. You know,
I love where it says, you know, $100 worth of material in this box for just $40. It's like, so it's not $100 worth of stuff.
No.
It's just garbage. But there was so many of them this year, like so many. Like they had Golden Girls mystery boxes. I'm like,
I saw that.
What is it going to be? Is it like fucking
a bunch of bobbleheads of them?
Yeah, like that's what it's just be, some bobbleheads and some plates. Is like, thank you for being a friend and the $50. Like, fuck that shit.
Being a friend.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Comic-Con. I like going, but I went one day this year and it was enough. And I was like, all right.
Oh, you only went Thursday?
Friday? I only went Friday. I was going to go back Saturday, but I was tired. We had a very late night on Friday at the Funko event.
And I called it too. I'm like, there was a couple of interviews that we could afford to miss. And I said, you know, I've never done this before, but I think I'm not going tomorrow. And all night I was just like, and then I texted Z. I said, I'm not going to go tomorrow. I wound up just sleeping in and felt like I had the shit kicked out of me. Like I was all achy and everything from those 2 days, just because they expanded the floor. It's way larger than it used to be. And then all the press rooms are not where they used to be. We were convenient at that one location. Now they're in another building, like 4 floors up, and then you got to go all the way to the back of the building. It was constant movement.
I did like that they had the northern section reopened though. Like it did feel nicer. Like that whole new area that like it sucked that the interviews were over there, but it was nice. Like it was a nice area. It didn't feel
nice area.
It didn't feel cramped because, you know, like where we used to do the interviews, like on that second floor, in that back room, always felt like it was just, you were cramped, like just waiting to get through the little booth. Like you just felt like you were just on top of people. And like this, there was enough space where you can breathe. They had green rooms again with snacks and drinks. Like they hadn't had that in a couple of years, probably because of everything was shut down.
We took advantage of that.
Oh yeah, I took
every time we had an interview, we went in there for coffee, grabbed a bottle of water. We're like, all right, done.
What kind of snacks did they have?
They had sandwiches. They had candy. They had fruit and salad bars. Yeah, you just go into those things and take it. And you know why? Because I wasn't waiting on that line to get stuck behind Darth Vader, who they fucked up his Big Mac. And all I want is a coffee. Like I just want to get a coffee and get in. And I just went in there. I saw the great Svengoolie like sitting on a table. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Just grabbed a coffee and walked out. Like,
wow. Oh, I'm excited.
That's what I did.
Sandwich. I mean, excited to eat. Sorry, I was on my own tangent. I'm doing a juice cleanse. I'm on my second day, and I'm so fucking hungry. I'm like dreaming about food.
I did that.
I did a juice cleanse this morning. I took a shower
in the middle of right. It was like April or May of 2020. It was a sponsor thing, and they gave it just this giant styrofoam cooler thing showed up, and all I'm thinking is like, oh great, Omaha Steaks, you know. And I open it up, and it's just
was it Raw Generation?
Yeah.
That's what I did. I'm doing Raw Generation.
Yeah, it was an advertising thing. I did it for, I don't know how long that whole thing was. 2 weeks, a week, something.
I think they have I got the 3-day cleanse, but I think they also do have a 7-day cleanse. So it might have been
there's one bottle of one flavor in there that just destroyed my esophagus. There was a carrot ginger one.
That sounds great.
Oh, I don't have that. I didn't have that one in my cleanse.
Yeah.
I have a carrot orange lemon and also a carrot beet lemon. I think the carrot and beet one is my favorite. It's really good.
My favorite juice to make at home, because I have a juicer, I do a carrot, beet, apple, ginger, lemon, and it is
that sounds delightful.
Fucking awesome. It is like the best thing. It's like really good. Blood red when you get it, but man, is it good. And if you forget that you drank it the day before, you will try and go to the hospital the next day. You'll be like, I am pooping and peeing blood. You're like, no, it's just all the beet juice.
Why is my pee red? That would freak me out. I've done that before.
I want to like ginger. I really do. But I was explaining to Giddles the other day, it's like when they go, if you go hunting for gold, and you know how they sift the earth in the water and everything to try to get the gold to extract from the earth.
Yeah.
No matter how it's disguised, how it's mixed or prepared, whatever I eat something that has ginger, the ginger separates from whatever it is, and I just feel it, and I'm burning with it, and it
oh my god,
it drives me nuts.
I fucking love ginger. It's my favorite spice. I put it in like everything I can because I love it so much. It's so refreshing.
I prefer raw ginger over cooked ginger, which I know is weird, but I don't mind raw ginger and stuff like ginger and juices and things like that. But cooked ginger tends to be kind of overpowering, so I like a little bit of it maybe, but not a lot.
Oh, I'll just eat it. Just give it to me.
So those 2 days kind of kicked our ass, and then Saturday we didn't do it. Sunday I was back solo doing the rest of the interviews that we needed to do, and then as soon as they were done, I left early afternoon. I was like, there's no reason for me to hang around here. So another Comic-Con was in the books. Thursday we did some interviews.
I mean, I was there almost 12 hours on Friday, so I feel like I did more time because I was there for that was the latest I've ever been at Comic-Con.
Thursday did a couple interviews, and then I met up with Zia, who came in later, who didn't come for the interviews, but I
missed the interview. I got there at like 1, I thought it was at 1:30 for some reason. So I got there at like 1:20 or something, and I had to sit in the entrance for like over an hour.
She didn't have her pass.
I have my pass. So I was just sitting there. It was like I ended up taking a bunch of pictures, and people wanted to come take pictures because I was in cosplay, so it was fine. But I was like, God damn it! If I'd shown up like 20 minutes earlier, I wouldn't have had to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I came. This is when I found out the press was in all this whole other area. So I come down to the main floor, and I'm walking all the way across trying to find Zia, and then I see this crowd around this girl taking photos, and I'm like, oh, that happens to be her. And I just turned my camera on and started walking over, taping everybody, just, visually fondling her in her Starlight outfit.
Visually fondling?
Yes.
I don't know
Giving
why
her
that
the ocular pat
creepier.
down?
Yes.
It sounds creepier than anything else. It sounds creepier than grabbing.
Let me see if I can pull the video up here.
Oh my god, George is like clawing at a box.
I was wondering what that noise was. George, what are you doing down there, George?
He's being a cat.
He's being a cat. He's like, I'm just gonna claw at things. He's like, hey, did you see this thing out the window?
I can't get this to enlarge for some reason. But you can see it here. It's up on my Instagram if you want to go check it out. But I just walked. She didn't even know I was taping. Then eventually she saw me right there, and she goes, "Oh, hi, Eric." And then there's just all these dudes taking photos of her or standing way behind her, looking because her ass was pretty revealing in that outfit.
I'm seeing double 4 Z's.
So many Z's.
Yeah. So I took the video and I asked her to approve it, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay." She's like, "Can you throw any filters on it?" And I don't do filters, so I don't know. I was like, I guess, where do I get the filters? And she goes, give me that. She just takes the phone from my hands, looking through, and in like 5 minutes later, oh, I like this, post this. And then it's this trippy diamond spectrum thing.
It looked neat. And also it's kind of like her power of using light and stuff.
Right.
It was neato burrito. But yeah,
I'm really mad because I told Eric that I was going to recreate that with me just sitting in my hoodie, and he was going to put all the effects on and be like, oh, Giddle's entertaining the crowd, but we never got a chance to shoot it. I was just going to stand there like,
that. You should have done that posing. You got to take your pants off, though.
Yeah, for my Only Flabs website, yeah.
You got to do it with no pants.
Oh, come! If you give him $10, he'll do the truffle shuffle.
If you give him $10, he'll helicopter.
Only Goonies.
If you give her $20, she'll helicopter. I want to see how she figures that out.
I'll figure it out somehow. When my boobs are done, it'll
She goes online. She orders a ticket for a helicopter ride. She's like, "Thanks for $20," and just goes on a tour of the city.
So Thursday, most of the day, at that point, the interviews were done. I'm walking around with Zia so she can see the floor, and there's a lot of guys wanting to take photos of her, with her, what have you. And then she runs into her big streamer friend, Vinny. What's his Vine Sauce?
Vinny Vine Sauce.
Vinny Vine Sauce.
Mr. Sauce.
Has a lot of followers.
Mr. Sauce to you.
Yeah. Turns out he's the cousin of a friend of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I sent you that text. Somebody wrote me. He goes, "Do you know that's my cousin?" I had no idea. So
that's
funny.
hilarious. I didn't even see that text.
That was like days and days ago. It's somewhere in there. No. But met that Vinny Vine Sauce guy. Very nice.
He is very nice.
We may have him on the show soon. Pretty popular for his.
Why is it called some Vine Sauce? Was grape juice taken?
He started on the Vine platform, right?
Oh.
No, I don't think that's why. I know he's talked about where the name Vine Sauce came from, but I honestly can't remember. I know he's talked about why, though. Thank you, Open to Say. Thank you.
He's saying your cosplay was cool, Zia. Zia had 2 costumes ready to go and then ditched the other one and came back again as Starlight on the day that we weren't there.
Nick talked me into doing Starlight again. I want to do Misty another time, though. I really do. I kind of need to get, I think, maybe another wig for Misty, though, because I'm not crazy about the one I have.
Is
Misty from Yellow Jackets?
Yes, I don't know who that is. Misty from Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon.
Is Misty going to show up?
Misty from Yellow Jackets would have been great. You could add a fucking bloody rock and pretend you were just drugging and murdering people in the woods.
Is Misty
that sounds really fun. Oh my god.
You should watch the show. Fantastic.
Is Misty going to show up in one of your shoots for your fan page?
Yes, as soon as my boobs are done.
Oh, that has to be the requirement for it?
No, it doesn't. I'm going to do it before that, but I just want my boobs.
I'll trade you my boobs for your boobs.
That sounds great to me, Giddles. But I don't want the hair. Can you shave them first?
No, I can't do that. It's a package deal.
So Zia's a fan of Pokemon. She's going to show up as Misty, but that day she was dressed as Starlight from The Boys on Amazon.
Starlight again.
And
for the boys.
We say hi to her friend Vinny, and then they wanted to go walk around for a while. Like, that's fine because I had to go do some shopping, some other stuff. So Zia goes off with Vinny to walk around, and I swear within 5 minutes I ran into another guy who we have mutual friend. I ran into him on right outside the main entrance to the floor, and he's like, "Oh, I want to introduce you to my friend," and introduces me to this lovely woman named Sarah. And we're talking for a little bit, and I find out she's a voice actress, right? Voice artist, whatever you call them.
Voice actress.
And I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And she told me what she did. I said, "No, really? Yeah." So this is somebody Zia would have loved to have met, and she had just walked away because Sarah is the voice of Ash in Pokemon, in the series, the video games, like everything that has rad. Ash's voice is her.
I missed out on meeting first of all, that would have been awesome. And then I also missed out on meeting Michelle Gomez because I didn't come in on Sunday. And I love Michelle Gomez so much. So I'm really, really bummed that I've loved her in everything. And now I'm on season 3 of Doom Patrol, and she's also obviously in that.
On there.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love everything she's in. I would have been so annoyed at what they had done with the Master if it hadn't been for her. I was like, oh, I'm okay with this because she's so awesome.
So I showed, I'll get into Michelle Gomez in a second because she had a message for Zia as well. But I was talking with Sarah and I go, "Can you do me a favor?
For Giddles?
I'm going to tape, I'm going to do a little video here. Can you just say hi to Zia because she's going to miss this and she'll be pissed." So we recorded a little video and sent it over to you. An hour goes by. Zia's the worst to try to contact through text and everything because she's either looking at her phone and not at her text, or she's just not on her phone. So an hour later goes by. I'm thinking like she'll see this and turn around and run back, hoping that was the goal if she saw the video. No, an hour later, and she's like, "Oh my God, where is she?" I'm like, "That was an hour ago."
Yeah, I didn't even see it. Especially when I'm out places, I'm not on my phone because I'm walking around usually.
Right.
And then I think I've noticed this about myself for sure. You get screen fatigue because I spend so much time answering messages on OnlyFans, on Twitter, on emails, on Instagram. And I don't mean it to sound like that, like, oh my God, everybody wants to talk to me. But it's just you spend so much time doing all this stuff that it's like the fatigue of constant messages coming in that it gets to be too much. And you have to, I don't know how people maintain so many relationships.
You know how they do it? They hire people to do it for them.
That's what they
Not
do.
the relationships,
right?
like the social media shit. They'll have
The
someone
social
who
media
yeah,
stuff.
let's have someone to just take care
Like,
of it.
I'm not at that level. I'm not at a hiring people level, and I do it all myself. So it's just it's like an eye fatigue, old nerdy. It's eye fatigue is real, and it's also just like a weird energy that you give out after a while that you get to a point where you're like, I just need to put everything down and just get my head out of my phone for a bit or off my computer.
I have if I stare at my phone or screen for a little while and then I look up, like everything is just blurry because my field of view like focused to like
It's
2.5 feet.
Low.
Yeah, and I'll be like walking around like this, like an old person, like hobbling because I've been hunched over and I'm like I can't see. I'm like just walking around, but like it happens.
It's more like
It
that
does.
Saturday Night Live clip with Nicole Kidman and Mike Myers where they're little kids on the playground, and she goes, "Everybody says I'm so pretty. You're so pretty. It's so tiring. And I hate it." And then Mike Myers' kid character just goes, "You're conceited." It's like, everybody's texting me. Everybody's so busy. But anyway,
It's just.
I'll
it's
answer
just
your
a lot.
text next time. Just give a different number.
no,
route
Giddles
it
is
to me, and I
Giddles
will
is bad
totally-
too. There's times where I text him and then all of a sudden hours goes by and then I'm like,
Well, especially if I'm at work, I don't check my phone.
not even at
'cause I
work.
can't.
There's just times where I text you.
I cut my finger on a deli slicer today, so I
Aw.
can't be texting.
See, showing off again, making it about him.
All about me.
All
my
about
finger.
Giddles.
No, I'm bad with text. I know it. Sometimes I'll read a text and be like, "Oh, cool," and I'll think in my head that I replied to Eric, and I.
That's
didn't.
what I was
I'll
about
just
to
throw
get
Throw the
to.
phone back in my pocket.
I do that all the time.
All the
Giddles.
time.
There's
It's a
plenty of times
problem.
like,
Or I'm,
dude, I need
in
an
the middle of
answer.
Something.
I need an answer from you. He goes, I thought I responded to you. It's like you looked at it and then went, oh, I responded, and
Yeah, I
carried on with your
responded in
day.
my head. We had a great conversation. You were like, "Yes, Giddles, anything you want to do."
That never happened. I needed an
I
answer.
give you approval. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
nope.
I also do this nifty thing where I'll look at a message when I'm in the middle of doing something, like I'm making dinner or whatever, and
Yeah.
someone will text me and I'll read it and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get back to them afterwards.
Yep, that happens
And I
all the time.
never get back to them ever.
Yes, Rob, completely underrated sketch. You're correct. So she missed Sarah, who was the voice of Ash on Pokemon. Then on Sunday, I had the cast of Doom Patrol, and one of them is Michelle Gomez, like Zia said.
I love her.
And Zia didn't make it for that. So I talked to Michelle and I said, this is my co-host Zia. Could you say something? And she didn't know that I didn't have the recording going yet. Otherwise, I would have had the video thing. But she just said, she goes, tell her I said sup. Like that in her thing. And I wrote, okay. And so I sent the photo of her to Zia and it said, Missy says sup. And Zia writes in all capitals, I love her so much with exclamation points. And this is also something that Michelle said. I go, oh, she knows. She wanted to see that sweet ass in the Starlight costume in person. Her words.
That's amazing.
She's
That's
very cool.
fantastic. Just makes me like her even more.
Yes. So we do talk to her a little bit later on in the program for Doom Patrol
Very
Season
nice.
4, which is coming out December? I forget. Titans and Doom Patrol, one's in November, one's in December. I forget the order.
All right.
of
Well, I
which they're
got to hurry
coming
up
in.
and finish season 3 so I can be caught up for season 4. I liked Titans quite a bit the first season.
I like Titans, but Titans is all over the place.
Well, this is what happened with Titans. I'm not caught up on it. So I watched the first season and I was like, okay, I actually like this. I enjoy this. I like the characters. I like the story. I like how they wrote everything. And then we got to the end of season 1 and then the first episode of season 2, it was like this big build to what's her face's dad, right?
Right.
And it was so horrible and anticlimactic, Raven's dad, that I was just left so let down that by the time we got to the finale of it, I was like, that's it. It was horrible. It was over in like a half an episode. The fight was awful. You're like, that's the end of it. And so I couldn't bring myself to watch it anymore. I do want to go back to it just to see, but I haven't been able to bring myself to watch anything past season 2, episode 1. Doom Patrol, on the other hand, I've really been enjoying because it's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I love how weird it is.
I haven't watched any of it, to be honest. Like, I've been so far behind on everything, and people have told me they're like, "You love the Harley Quinn show, you love Doom Patrol," and I'm like, I just don't have. I don't have the time. I feel like it's so much to catch up on. I haven't even watched any of this season of Rick and Morty, and I love Rick and Morty. Like, I'm just, you know what I did watch? I watched the fucking Jeffrey Dahmer documentary the other day.
How is that? I want to watch that.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't watch the recreation one. I watched the actual one, the confession tapes where they were like talking and you like, you know, you really heard him talking about like why he did the shit. Dude, it is one of the craziest, it is so much more fucked up than I even thought it was. And after watching that documentary, like, I'm fascinated by it. Like, it's absolutely
fascinating
insane
how people can, like, what is it in their brain that makes them not only being able to do this, but being okay doing this and enjoy doing something that's insane and disgusting.
I mean, crazy. You need to watch the documentary. It's only like 3 or 4 episodes and each one's an hour. So they don't get like as deep into stuff. Like, they do, they go on a lot of stuff, but man, is it fucking crazy.
What platform is it on?
It's on Netflix. You can watch
it is on Netflix.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
right.
Okay,
it's like Netflix.
That's
it's like watch the confession tapes and then watch the recreation one.
Gotcha.
But it's interesting because like I haven't watched the recreation one, but people who have watched it are like, you know, they got a lot of the facts wrong on the story. But I'm like watching the story from the actual documentary. I'm like, I don't know what they could have gotten wrong because this is crazier than anything I've ever heard in my life. Like,
why would they get the facts wrong?
I think it was just more about like the interpersonal stories between him and the victims.
But I mean, you just take the good and you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts.
Yes. Yeah, the fact of knife. Yes.
The facts of knife.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild. Like, that's all I'll say. Like, watch the documentary series. It's 3 or 4 episodes. They're an hour each, and it is bonkers.
Trying to figure out what else about. Oh yeah, so Friday we had a lot of the interviews that Giddles and I did, and then we had 3 different parties that we were invited to.
Yes,
and then one party I didn't even know existed, which I'm sure Giddles would have loved to have attended, but I think we made the right choice going as guests of Funko.
You're always if your options at Comic-Con are Funko event or anything else, always go to the Funko.
Right.
Hands down. So I'm not a huge collector, but you will get cool shit.
And they have a fun party. Like it was a whole experience. That was a
Run DMC did a set.
Yeah, Run DMC performed.
Where's he running to?
To DMC. And then they had Elvira was there. She talked for a little bit. Then that influencer that I had no idea. I don't even know where the pop is. That influencer that I had no idea who she was. This Bella Porch.
So wild that there are these people who have millions and millions of followers. I mean, that girl is like, what, 13 million or something like that?
90 million on TikTok.
90. See, I've never heard of
her at the event.
Yeah, 90 million on TikTok, 40 million on Instagram.
That's insane. Holy shit.
And all she did, we looked it up. I thought she was a singer or something, and based on the logo there, Giddle's like, oh, she must be in some kind of metal band or something. So
yeah, that's like black metal logos.
Yeah,
like
so we're like, okay, so that this must be what it is. It's just maybe it's an Asian or European thing that we didn't know of. And then we look her up. She got famous for lip syncing something, and then that parlayed into her recording actual songs and releasing them.
Wow.
And another note, so Friday night was the Funko party where she gave this stuff out and we just learned who she was. Saturday night, WWE had their pay-per-view for Extreme Rules, and she was the theme song for the pay-per-view. She has a song called Villains that was the whole theme for the night of the pay-per-view. I'm like, how did we just hear of this person now? And then today, the day that we're recording the show, she had a live signing at their West Hollywood store, and there was a line down the street for her Funko Pops. No idea who she is.
Like I said at the event, when I saw the picture of her, I was like, she's either in a metal band or she's involved with wrestling somehow. And then it turns out it was both.
So
she does. She looks like a wrestler. You're right, or a metal band, absolutely, or a singer.
Especially with like the logo and like her holding the axe and the way she got it. She's like, I'm gonna do this, and I was just like, is she like a wrestler? What is this? And she's just trying to go with the heavy metal theme or something. And then she's just an influencer, like.
Yeah, that's all.
I don't know why she's famous. It's because she could lip sync.
And
I don't know.
I posted, I was like, oh, she gave me this. There was 4 different prizes they were giving out. They gave you this little monster card when you went in, and it was just like a little lotto kind of thing where they would do some kind of presentation and go, if you have this card, you're gonna get this. Like, it became a game show at that point.
The whole thing was a game show. They were just giving out prizes and
everywhere, throwing stuff all over the place, and did that. I get the first card pulled. I had it. I was like, I don't know who she is, and then I posted online. I'm like, oh, this was nice. She gave me this pop, and everybody else was like, who? I don't know who this person is. For having so many followers, the internet doesn't know who she is, so I don't know how that works.
I mean, she only has 90 million followers. There's 300 million people in the United States. So
right, that is true. So
90 million worldwide.
So she's got about a third of the country. You'd think the other 2/3 would catch up and wisen up to her antics.
Well, it also takes people to write articles about who she is. A lot of people can follow her and know who she is, but unless someone writes articles, there's not information.
But here's the thing: a lot of these people, they're in their own world. This is a universe that we'll never go into unless we really get sucked into it. This is a totally different world. It's like YouTube celebrities and shit like this. It's like remember when that whole shit happened 2 weeks ago with these Try Guys or whatever, and some people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! That guy was a family man," and everyone else in the country is like, who the fuck are the Try Guys? You know what I mean? It was national news, but that's the split. These guys are massively, immensely popular in a world that we know nothing about.
I know who they are. I've always known who the Try Guys were because I think they started on BuzzFeed, right?
Something like that. Yeah, they worked at BuzzFeed.
But there's a difference, at least for this generation of, I'm not talking about younger people, but this generation currently of fandom and celebrity, where look, you can know somebody's a football player or an athlete, something that's somebody famous. You may not know who they are or that they play football, but the majority of people would know, oh, that's the quarterback for this team, or if this somebody, or this is somebody who's a very popular musician, or this is a very famous wrestler. There's people who will know if you don't know, right? Yeah. And that's fine. Not everybody's going to know everything. But when you have this kind of level of an influencer, a gamer, some kind of streamer, something like that, oh my God, they got 30 million subscribers on Twitch. And the majority of the world doesn't know who this person is. Now, it's not faulting the person, it's just, it doesn't bleed into the mainstream culture as easy as it used to. You can have people who are celebrities show up at things I don't know who this person. You look at, oh my God, they have 8 albums. Oh, this guy's very famous for something. But then you see this person here. Oh, they've been famous since the pandemic started because they stream this one kind of game and they've got 8 million people. You put them on a television show, you put them out in the public, everyone's like, I have no idea who this is. It just doesn't translate and cross over easy anymore. In that world, I don't want to say cyber because that's an old term, but on the online world, you're huge. But when you come out of that online world, nobody knows or nobody cares.
There was some video I was watching. There was some guy, I guess he was a big TikTok influencer, and he had probably 10 to 20 million followers or something like that. And he went to Japan. And he was just standing around, and it was so sad because he was just expecting people to be like, "Oh my God, it's this guy," and no one came up.
No,
to him. It was just people videotaping him and him sitting there looking around, waiting for people to come up, and no one knew who he was. No one cared.
It doesn't translate to the outside world.
Yeah,
online you're huge, but in the real world, you walk around, nobody's fucking mobbing you at a Starbucks, or paparazzi's following you as you're walking down the street.
To me, I feel is the perfect, because you can make a lot of money online,
Correct.
A shit ton, with a certain level of fame where your online community knows you, and if you have a meetup or something like that where they're going to see you, then yes, you would get mobbed or whatever. But otherwise, you get to live your life in relative anonymity, but still make a shit ton of money doing something that you enjoy. I think that's a really nice, happy medium. I wouldn't want to be massively famous,
but that's the thing. They make a lot of money.
I don't want to be as famous as I am, but I have to deal with it.
Exactly, Giddles. That's why you have the black curtains on all your windows.
Giddles, that's the price you pay.
But when their money is from being famous, it's not like you were rich and became famous, or you were famous and became rich. One followed the other.
Right.
You're doing one to cause the other.
Yeah.
And that's where it falls apart, where you need to be famous in order to make this money online, and then you're trying to be famous outside of that, and it doesn't work because nobody cares. Like when you hear they've got that girl over there, she's like 24, she's smoking body, looks fantastic, she's a multi-millionaire, that's great. What does she do? Oh, she just does these weird little bikini try-on things and dances on the beach and stuff. Okay. And then she's expecting to be famous, and she's not. Like nobody she's hot, but nobody gives a fuck what she does, or who she is. She's making a ton of money online, but it's not like being in a movie. Like if you get cast in a movie, you get famous and you start making money because your acting's good, and you build a career that way, where they go side and side, hand by hand, side, whatever the term. You know what I'm talking about. But when you need one to cause the other. And that's what the online world is. Then when you go like, oh, the world's going to embrace me. The world's like, I don't really fucking know who you are. Oh, I follow you. Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't. But
realize. Also, like, remember, like, what was it, 2016, 2017, where we interviewed Logan Paul,
right?
And I was just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
And you were like, oh, he's famous because he did these videos on YouTube where he would just do a split in the middle of
these cities, right?
And he went from that to like MMA fighter or whatever. And he's in movies.
He made like become
millions
other
upon
things.
Millions
That's
of dollars.
Different. Him and his brother made it into other venues to become famous.
But at that time, he was still relatively unknown.
He was making millions of dollars. He had his Maverick clothing line, and he was just doing those stupid YouTube videos. He managed to figure out how to grow past that.
Yeah.
He's signed to the WWE. He's wrestling in Saudi Arabia for their big pay-per-view.
That's wild. Yeah, he was one of those. Him and his brother figured it out. But if you think even to like YouTubers like Jenna Marbles, do you remember Jenna Marbles?
We used to have her on the show. She did a show on Hits 1 at Sirius.
Yeah. So she was a really big YouTuber.
She used to have her dog Kermit up there with her.
Yeah, she has since sort of retired. But if you weren't in on the YouTube world, you wouldn't know who the hell Jenna Marbles is. She was sort of that level where in YouTube she was massive and she was making a lot of money. When she signed with Sirius, YouTube paid.
When she signed with Sirius to do that, they had internally they were going around to different shows and producers and stuff. It's like, you think you might want to have her on? It's like, okay, I don't know who she is. What does she do? And they're like, oh, she does these YouTube blogs and videos and stuff. And that wasn't enough to get her on O&A or Ron and Fez or Howard or any of those kind of shows. But, we were the show that would take anybody before they became somebody. So we're like, yeah, we'll talk to her. So we had her on. She was very nice. And then her thing started blowing up with Hits 1 and her other videos of, from doing what she does. And then she became a name at that point. But yeah, I imagine like she could still go out on the streets, maybe not in LA, but she could go out anywhere else and nobody knows who she is.
Yeah, absolutely. And she also is retired from doing stuff. And it's that sort of level where you can fade into obscurity, where people don't really think about you or talk about you except to bring it up every once in a while. Like, hey, remember that girl, Jenna Marbles, who used to do... There's like a certain level where it's easier to get out.
Right. They make Same thing. I don't fault them for that. They make their millions of dollars and then get the fuck out.
Hell yeah.
Some of them, absolutely. A lot of them
That's the way to do it. Don't keep yourself in the spotlight. The longer you stay in the spotlight, the faster it'll burn you.
That's what I'm trying to get at. A lot of them become addicted to the fame and the money that comes with the fame, with like anybody else would when you reach that level.
Of course.
But they don't know when to tone it down or step back from a little bit, and then it bites them in the ass. Where a lot of these bloggers, influencers, and whatever start getting caught for, sexual misappropriation and violence.
Sexual misappropriation. Sorry, I misappropriated my sexual funds this month.
Well, my sex was supposed to go here, but it went here instead.
One fighting
now
with...
you're going to go here.
There's
too.
that one...
I put my penis in someone that was not my wife.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's that.
Misappropriated that dick.
There's... who's the... There's a lot of them that are, trans, whatever, and they do the famous makeup
Jeffree
and
Star.
fancy stars stuff. Yeah, that's one of them that I'm thinking of. And then there's a whole bunch of controversy around that guy, like that he may or may not have done some shit that may be a problem, and they all burn too hot and then don't know to throttle it back. They just go out the same way that they came in, and then their whole empire is fucking it falls apart. There's that one guy, Shane. Shane something.
Oh, fucking Shane.
The one that everyone started saying that he fucked his cats.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, I feel like I heard
Shane the
about
cat
that.
fucker.
Yeah, that's
that
what he's
guy.
known as, though.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
How could you fuck your cat? I feel like their little holes are too small to get a dick in.
Shane
That's
Dawson.
Just like,
He was like, I really like pussy. And we're like, we don't know.
Shane
like,
Dawson
yeah.
was this guy, and then like this rumor came out that he said something that he fucks his cats, and then that became the thing. Now he got into trouble for some other shit, and then that cat fucker thing came up, and now they're all just like, oh, that's the cat fucking guy.
Yeah,
He sees a
fucking
cat on the sidewalk. He's like, I love hairballs.
Yeah.
And the cat's just like, "Meow."
George ran out of the room.
How do you think I got George? He escaped. He escaped like that poor guy who tried to leave Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Oh,
and the cops
no.
brought him right back.
Right.
The cops were like, "You shouldn't be out on your own, sonny boy."
Literally what happened. And the guy
All right,
was
we really
so
strayed very
horrible.
far from New York Comic Con to go into this direction, so we'll.
Well, we
bring
talked
back.
about it while your
Fun.
camera froze.
Yeah, well, we'll bring it back to New York Comic Con. The Funko party, like you said, was a lot of fun. They gave us a bunch of stuff. I have stuff here that I'm trying to figure out if we're going to do giveaways.
Yeah, I got a
or
bunch behind me,
something
too.
else. I don't even know half these characters, but like they're worth a lot of money. This
Kaboom!
Gloomy Bear
Cereal
and the
and
cereal
Gloomy
thing,
Bear.
whatever.
I feel like Gloomy Bears was that Five Nights at Freddy's or
I don't know, but Zia, look at this. Look at this thing that they gave us.
oh, I got one of those.
Ooh, what's that? Oh, Funko. I thought that was one of those things. You remember those things where you used to make jelly candy in the shape of like brains and stuff?
Yes,
Yes.
I remember exactly what you're talking about. It's supposed to be
It
the
looked
Saturday
like-
morning cartoons.
It was a
Yes.
cross between the Play-Doh factory and like an Easy Bake thing. Where
well,
you
because
were
they had the
cooking it.
creepy
Yeah.
crawlers one, which is the one where you can make like the
one
the spiders
too.
and shit, and then they had the other ones. It was like the anatomy ones with the brains
So,
and stuff.
This is
I
what
loved those.
is in
This is
the
what we got
box
for
here.
free.
That's pretty cool, though. That's
Apparently,
cool. What are
they're
those
pretty
photos?
damn valuable. Like
Yeah.
they have their own their own mascot called Freddy Funko, and they put him in different licensed
get fingered?
properties. No,
He did.
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
No, that's Freddy Fucko. That's a different one.
No, but there's Freddy as the alien and They Live.
Yeah.
As,
Ew.
the creep from Creep Show.
And as Sam.
Sam from Trick or Treat. And then they have the little soda figures and everything here too. We looked online, and there were people at the party already posting these things that Funko just gave us this stuff, and they were out on the little rooftop terrace for the
Posting that
party.
they had it. $500.
Some were going for like almost $7.
Jeez.
That box, I've seen that box close out on a couple of eBays for $750 and up.
I
For the
should have
entire
gone just
box?
for that. That would
Yeah, for the entire box, not including the other ones that we got also.
Right.
water heater. I
Like
need.
this
Which
thing.
that one alone is like $400 on eBay.
Yes. So
God
this
damn.
thing is what they're doing now is Funko's into this Dayglow color blacklight material, so you can put this on in the blacklight and it will reflect and glow. But this is their character. This was the big get of the night because they don't unless you were at the party. That's the only way you get it. But again, we saw these people with the giant Halloween bags and everything posting this stuff online instead of actually enjoying the party. And the second something was given out, those prototypes.
Oh, yeah, we got the prototypes. Too. Each one of those are worth money.
Yeah, like
It was like a free event of just free money. They're like, here you go. Here's some toys. If you collect them, good for you. If not, here's some free money. Just go sell it on eBay.
between
basically.
the prototypes, the boxes, some of these other things, like if you added it all together, you could probably get over 1,000 for this stuff. It's so ridiculous.
That's what I'm gonna try.
And then they gave us NFTs, which
there's
on
an
the
NFT
other side
also.
of these cards are codes to get your NFTs. I don't know what to do with this. There was that girl who was trying to buy the cards off of us. She's like, I'll give you some money for the NFTs.
Yeah, when we were sitting out there, she's like, "I'll give you some
hilarious.
money for this." I'm like,
like,
one, I don't believe in NFTs. Two, let me see if it's valuable first before I sell it to you.
Yeah, because if it is, then guess what? We register the code, we get our NFT, and then isn't that the whole point of an NFT? You sell it, and then you get a percentage of what everybody sells it for.
Yeah, I think you technically own that. So if you go on the website and that coupon or whatever says like you get this ultra rare Freddy Funko figurine, NFT, then you have that and then you can sell that. So if you would have sold you could sell the card right now as a lottery ticket thing of just being like, oh, $20, whatever happens, or you can collect the NFT and maybe get something more valuable and then sell that.
Billy Six
I don't
Gun-
believe in NFTs and technology, but I believe in money. And if someone's going to give me money for it, then I believe in it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't believe in spending my money on it, but I will take your money to give it to you.
Yeah.
Billy Six Gun in the chat said, I don't get those figures. Every reaction channel on YouTube has them displayed. Here's the thing. They're very popular. They get licenses for properties that nobody thinks to make any kind of collectible or memorabilia for. And then they got to the point where they don't have to go after licenses anymore. Every company has something. They automatically come to them and said, all right, this is our brand new property. This is our new show, Yellow Jackets. We want to put out a whole line of pops for maybe 4 of the characters here, some T-shirts, some things like that. And they go, okay, great. And they work out the deal. And then this is where, because people used to compare Funko Pop to Beanie Babies. And the big difference is that Beanie Babies were all inward. They all channeled it inward. It's like, oh, this bear represents England. This one has tie-dye and this peace mark on there. This is now the Grateful Dead bear. Like, they kept it like that. Funko can just perpetually make more licenses and more figures as new licenses are constantly generated. There's always new athletes, new musicians, new politicians, new movies coming out, new TV properties. So, and all they want to do is have their shit made at Funko. So as long as the creators are out there making more stuff, Funko can just keep making this stuff and never go out of business.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Funko has a wider range of buyers than Beanie Babies did. Like, Beanie Babies was literally just like older like moms, like niche, like people who wanted that stuff. Like, everybody of all age groups, races, genders, sexes wants Funko Pops. You know what I mean? Like, because like Eric said, there's something for everybody. Not everybody wants like the queen just had a baby Beanie Baby. Like, no one wants that shit, even though it's probably one of the more valuable.
Lucy Moody in the chat says, I'd buy a Zia Funko, but that's about it.
I would cry if I had a Funko of me. That'd be so cool.
I will say this, and I'll answer this question for Matthew 7X in the chat. I need an E-Rock Funko. Stay tuned.
Oh.
There's something in the works.
An E-Rock Funko is on the way.
We'll get into that a little bit later. And they were giving out all kinds of other shit too, like these masks. They made a whole bunch of these mask stuff. Like, this is Day of the Dead Batman, but every other kind of property they have these Halloween masks. We are going to give away during the break. We have a signed comic book from DMC, from Run DMC.
Here's a Giddles NFT. That's Giddles as a Funko Pop.
Giddles worth millions.
I just made this. This is fresh, hot off the presses. Very nice. That's a duck on my head.
Okay. So we're going to be giving this thing away during the break. So if you listen to the radio version of the show, we'll have a way for you to win a signed DMC comic from Mr. Daryl McDaniels. Very cool guy. I've run into him many times. He used to have a lemonade stand there for his charity. He would sell his lemonade. It's sort of like, remember Alex's lemonade stand that would go for that children's hospital stuff?
Mm-hmm.
He does
tell you something about that, Eric.
Go ahead.
The next season of Somebody Feed Phil might have the person who started that whole thing on it.
Oh, really?
I gotta get back to watching Somebody Feed Phil. I love him.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I know about the lemonade stand is because I was involved with it on the last season of the show.
Oh, that's so cool.
I didn't realize he was involved in that. Yeah, it's a great organization.
That's awesome.
So you can win that comic book for the radio version of the show, like I said. But for those of you here live, when we go to break, we have some stuff that we're going to give away and figure out to give away to the live audience, because we can't just give everything away to the live audience, and we can't give everything away to the people who hear us on demand. So we're going. What
about to the dead audience? Can we give them stuff? They're not even going to take it.
They can go.
We can give it to them, and then we can go pick it back up because they're dead.
Right.
Because they're dead.
We'll re-gift it over and over.
Yeah.
So Friday was the Funko Halloween party. Giddles and I had a great time. Lots of stuff. You can see the big over there, that big orange thing, that big Halloween bag. I'm moving in every direction.
Yeah. Look at that bag.
Stands about 3 feet tall. Funko's just ridiculous. Say what you want about the company, but they're doing everything right.
And they're really nice people. Like, they're super nice. They hang out with us. Like, even when we were going to the event, like, all the people that were there remembered us from the earlier interviews. Like, they had talked about our show. They were just like, oh, here. Like, they saw the coupons that we had for the prizes, and they were like, no, here, you take one of these and you take one of these. So that way, make sure you guys get more of the rares, as opposed to me and Eric both getting the same toys. Like, they were, like, really taking care of us.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this one's good. That pirate ship was the big get this year again for that.
No,
One
the box
Piece
we
stuff.
got at the Friday Funko night was the big get.
That too.
It's not the ship that's selling for $150 on eBay. It's the 4-pack that's selling for $750. That's the big get.
Oh well.
Or this NFT.
Yes, we'll settle that NFT for $1, and then you can be on the what is it called, the blockchain?
Sure.
For it, and then as it sells for more and more down the line, all the money eventually comes right back to Giddles.
Yep, that's right.
So, so we are going to take a break in just a moment. Then we'll get to all the other interviews that we did for New York Comic Con, and then the prizes and whatever. Anything else that you guys remember from your experience at New York Comic Con? I know it was just kind of walking the floor.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all I did was walk the floor.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that was it. It was fine.
Yeah, I walked the floor. I went in circles. I mean, I was just kind of just really disappointed for the most part. Like, even like I feel like the amount of cosplayers was half of normally what it is. Like, there's usually so many more cosplayers. There's usually someone in like a really large suit that can't move anywhere, that's blocking traffic and everyone's taking pictures of. There was no costume like that this year. And you know what I knew was the canary in the coal mine?
What?
That this was not a good Comic-Con. And it's the same thing I say every year. When that fucking Geico bus is not here, that's when you know Comic-Con's dead. And this year, there was no Geico bus. The Geico bus, and like, people there are probably like, why are you talking about the Geico bus? Because for years, I'd always say, why is there a fucking bus here trying to sell us car insurance?
And they had a
Comic-Con?
they used to have it
They
as a
always
big
had a
camp out. They tied in one year.
Something with
They tied in 1 year with Walking Dead for the Negan scene.
Yeah,
where they were all kneeling down and he's standing there with the bat, and they had the bus in the back of like it was like a campsite where this shit was going on. Geico should come back as the bus from Fortnite, because what other bus is popular right now?
That's actually very smart. Yeah,
but they weren't even there. Like it was so weird because you get like all these just other products that are there that aren't related to Comic-Con, and none of those were there this year.
I did see Equinox there. There are Equinox
the
people
gym?
walking around. Yeah, I was like, why are you guys here? I feel like this is the wrong place for you. I feel like Comic-Con is not.
This is the most physical
shine.
activity a lot of these people have gotten in their whole lives. Like,
and also, they probably saved up for the entire year to come to this. They're not going to pay $250 a month to go to fucking Equinox.
Yeah, to go to a gym. They're not going to do that. I'm a
gym person, and I would not. Even if I had money, I probably wouldn't spend that much. I'd still go to some fucking Gold's Gym or some shit.
Oh, you know what? My last thoughts, I will say, and this is my last thoughts on Comic-Con, and I say this every time we go, but I can't fucking stand nerds. I just can't stand nerds and geek culture, and it's not because I don't like that people are enjoying it. It's because I don't like these people specifically. The people
can be applied
at Comic-Cons, they're pushy. Like there's no respect for anyone.
It's all the
like,
hierarchy shit.
Hey, excuse me, I just need to get by you. They just push through you. They knock you over. Like they just grab things out of your hand. It's like, dude, like just stop. Like, and that's what I don't like about Comic-Con.
You remember at the Halloween
pushy,
party,
grabby people.
Giddles is near the stage and they're throwing stuff out. Giddles is about to get some kind of big.
I almost caught it.
Funko Pop thing that they threw out. So he has his hands up and he hits it, and it hits off another guy's hand, goes flying towards Giddles. He goes to grab it, and I guess it hits like the tips of his fingers.
I hit it. Someone else tipped it out of my hand, so I couldn't get it.
But as Giddles is trying to grab it, and then it bounces out of his hand, some guy yells at Giddles saying, "You're gonna bend the box." It's like, go fuck yourself. You're not even getting this thing anyway, and you're screaming that, oh, the box is being bent. Any of this shit they're throwing out there is not the expensive collector stuff anyway.
But not relax, only that, dude. They literally took the Funko, threw it 50 feet straight up in the air. Like, if I didn't touch the box, it would get damaged when it hit the floor. Like, there is no way this box is not getting damaged unless I somehow have a trampoline. I can catch it like an old Looney Tunes cartoon of a fire, like it's jumping out of a second-story window. Like, and even that would probably damage it. But yeah, that's my biggest complaint, and it will always be my biggest complaint. Is just I can't stand just people who are nerds because they just no basic humanity.
That's
just
not
like,
relegated to nerds. I've been around lots of crowds.
No,
that are
I know, but it's
garbage.
just I think it's just
people
because
are trash.
I think it's just because I'm just so around so many of them that I realize it, and I'm just
Right.
like, that's what it is.
I was texting you from the press rooms. You know,
Yeah.
This is the issue that I have with those roundtables that they do for press, which I won't do because they sound like shit. I can't air them on the radio that way. We have to do direct one-on-ones or like a duo kind of situation, press line, if you will, or isolated interviews. The people at the round tables, when they're waiting for the talent to come in, I heard them, and they're all just talking about, oh, did you see this thing? And was that? Oh, yeah, I was down there. So, yeah, but, I was talking to this guy. Oh, do you know this guy? Because he's the guy that got, oh, yeah, I heard of that guy. Yeah, well, so I was having lunch with that guy the other day. Like, it's that shit that they're doing. It's like they're trying to one up on who's more important and who's more in the know, and you're just like, this is why nobody fucking likes you, and this is why you don't get a lot of the big press stuff. You got to do this. Oh, you're one question, and there's 16 people at a round table that you're lucky to get your question in because that guy's got 5 minutes to talk to the table.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff too. When they're all like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Oh, I have this blog and I have this thing here. Oh, we do this video thing. We have like, it's like, all right, cool. Well, what do you do? It's just like, I'm just on the radio. That's it. Wait, you're with that? Yeah, you're with that. Yeah, okay. Oh, what's that like? It's good. Like I don't want to talk to you. And I'm not trying to be antisocial, but I heard what an asshole you are to all these other people and they're not even like. It's not like they're talking to fans. They're talking to other people also there to do press, and they're acting like they're better than everybody else. And that I don't like, because it's not just the nerd fandom stuff. It's a lot of fandom. Sports people, Star Wars people, all of that shit, where they all try to like, oh, you haven't been a fan that long, so you don't really, your opinion really doesn't matter.
It's gatekeeping. Gatekeeping's fucking annoying.
It's like,
but that's different, though. That's not a lack of basic, excuse me, sir, I'd like to get by, and just pushing and knocking people over. That's
humanity in general at a whole when you put them all together.
Ugh, it's the
It
worst.
sucks because they're trash.
Like when we were at the
People are
Todd
garbage.
McFarlane booth, like I'm just sitting there, like we're waiting to get escorted to the interview. And like, he just holds up this comic book, and there's like someone who worked at the booth almost trampled me to run over to get the picture. I'm like, dude, like I pushed him. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of my way. You just ran into my bag. You're crushing all my shit. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I had to get over here. I'm like, yeah, but like you were 1 foot to the left of me. You didn't have to knock me over to get 1 foot over. Like you could have just been like, can I just stand there? I would have let you by. Like I do not care that much.
But follow me in the chat saying gatekeeping is only acceptable when I do it. That is correct. When I do it, it's acceptable. But those are also the same people. I'm a
gatekeeper. It's my job. I have a gate, and I have to keep it.
And I'm the key master.
And it's my
Get away from my gate, Eric. No, you get away from my gate.
These are the same people that will be walking in a crowded pattern, through the hallway or through the floor. And then they're like, oh, I want to stop and look around. And then you're backing up. It's like slamming on your brakes on a busy highway as you're about to all turn off.
That's what I do all the time.
And they all look around and you go move, and then they get annoyed. Like, excuse me. It's like there's 9 people behind you here. They were all in a rhythm, a pattern, walking down the floor. It was fine. You just stopped to look at some dumb shit. It's like move out of the way and let everybody else go past. Don't just stop. And then you're not allowed to hit those people because then that's a problem, and then you get thrown out of the con.
Ugh.
And it always
then your comic gone.
Your comic gone, indeed. All right, I guess that's it for this little recap stuff. When we come back from the break, you'll have all the interviews for you to enjoy. Let's do the plugs and everything now, so we can get it all out of the way, and then you can hear the goodness after the break. Zia, what do you have?
Just Zealand everywhere. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. Subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to my Twitch. Go do all of those things. Thank you.
All right, Giddles, what do you have?
Gittlebase, Twitter, Instagram, twitch.tv/Gittlebase. I think that's it. I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to work out my streaming schedule, but my week.
Did you
my
forget
work
your
week,
stuff? Yeah, I'll put
I don't do that on
fucking.
Everything's at Gittlebase. I'm not hiding anything. Just Google it and you'll find me. Right. I'm trying to get my streaming thing set up still, but like my work schedule is still crazy. I had to tell them today that's not okay to let me work 14 days in a row straight without a day off. So I have to figure it out. I'm getting there, but get ready because there's going to be a lot of meat cooking. Lots of meat.
All right. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on all the social medias. Like we said, we do the show live every Thursday night around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to go over to twitch.tv/It's Eric Nagel, subscribe there. That does help out the program, and you can interact with the show. We've been experimenting with bringing YouTube into the fold, and it's been going rather well too. So we'll have the live stuff happening on YouTube. But if you're listening on iHeartRadio, Spotify, the audio platforms, whatever, and you missed the live show and you want to see the videos from everything you missed, go over to the YouTube. It's all up there. Usually next day you can see the video version of the program and catch up and see everything else. Plus, we've been putting more clips out across all the platforms. I think that is it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, all the stuff that we did at New York Comic Con, all the interviews for you to enjoy. Be right back.
More It's Eric Nagel. It's Eric Nagel. Next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Eric Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itsericnagel.com.